The Great Lakes are home to 21% of the world's fresh surface water. They provide an unparalleled economic engine to Michigan and the surrounding states through tourism, agriculture, and recreation. Over 30 million people rely on a clean Great Lakes for their drinking water. But the lakes mean so much more. They are Michigan's soul, our tribal home. They are our identity. In 1953, the state of Michigan gave permission to let a corporation lay twin oil pipelines between Michigan's upper and lower peninsulas with the promise to follow the provisions of this agreement. And then, the pipelines were forgotten. In 2010, the unforgivable happened.
Some are calling this an environmental nightmare tonight that's taking a toll on people as well.
A rupture of the Enbridge Line 6B pipeline spilled 1 million gallons of oil into the Kalamazoo River. The resulting chaos exposed Enbridge as a company that could not be trusted in Michigan.
The governor said the Enbridge response is wholly inadequate.
So this is a serious situation. We want to send out the alarm that we need additional resources.
But there are vast stretches where there is no response whatsoever.
The realization that an aging pipeline infrastructure across the country was failing and spoiling the water that we all need to survive means that it's time to step in and stop this destruction. The understanding that carbon being pumped into our atmosphere from the burning of these fossil fuels is changing our climate in devastating ways, making us all realize that enough is enough. The Oil and Water Don't Mix campaign was launched on a sunny day in 2013 at the Straits of Mackinac to bring attention to the threat posed by this foreign corporation and their pipelines.
And then to learn that there are big pipelines, right? Just because that was the cheapest way to go would be to stick them under the lake. I mean, cheapest way to go for Enbridge, but think about what would happen to the economy of this whole region if one of those sprung a leak. Oddly enough, most people don't want to go vacation in an oil slick, you know?
State officials were made aware that as stewards of the Great Lakes, they had not only the duty and responsibility to protect the Great Lakes from Enbridge and their pipelines, but they had the ability to shut down Line 5 in the Straits of Mackinac. Instead of acting with the urgency required, our representatives formed committees, began studies, and made backroom deals to keep crude oil flowing through the Great Lakes. The 2018 elections offer a great opportunity to get Michigan back on track with the protection of our environment, to retire Line 5 and make sure it's not replaced with a new pipeline. Laws that protect our Great Lakes are already on the books. A responsive government that will enforce these laws is within our reach. For the benefit of our state and for future generations, we simply cannot stand for oil transport through, on, or under the Great Lakes. By working together, we the people can return our state to a place that puts people and environment first and take action to shut down Line 5.
There is no alternative to clean water. That is the state of Michigan's responsibility.
So we're here today participating in the Pipeline Safety Advisory Board meeting out of good faith, but we are not getting that in return.
When this stuff doesn't spill, when it makes its way down these pipes and into refineries and gets turned into gasoline and gets burned, then it spills into the atmosphere. That happens every single day.
What we wanted to do was show you what the birds will look like, what the shoreline will look like if that pipeline breaks.
My Indian name is Picasso, and it means the one who is swimming. So that makes the water and the fish my friends.
Your presence today is a signal that we can do this. Protecting the Great Lakes starts right here, right now. Let's get to work.
change our own minds. We can change our little world. We can choose to use a curse. We can give our lives. We can look into the universe. We can change our own mind. With a little focus and understanding. With a little organizing and funding, with a little ancient wisdom, ancestor power commanding, we can choose to use the heart and start the healing. We can turn this crash into some kind of a landing. We can change our own mind. We can change our little world with a little insight, internet, innovation, intuition, inner vision. We can make love our mission. Turn this crash into some kind of a landing. We can choose to use the worst and keep on demanding. We can learn to see the shadows without falling into distraction. We can shut down poison, breathe out compassion. We can change our own mind. We can change our little world. We can shut down pollution and breathe out solutions. Yeah, we can change our own mind. How you feeling tonight, Traverse City? So good to be with you. My name's Seth Bernard. I'll be your host. We got a great house here. I want to say hello to everybody at all the other sites, everybody who's watching online. Thank you so much for your presence tonight, for your presence in this movement for clean water. We got a lot of sites. We have over 30 different sites, different parties tonight, celebrating, celebrating the retirement of Line 5. So we got people all over Michigan, you can see. The Mitten is well represented. We have the whole Midwest represented, actually. There's folks in Chicago, and there's folks in Wisconsin. We've even got a party out in Boulder, Colorado this evening. And we even have a party out in Hawaii. Aloha. It's amazing. So we wouldn't be here tonight if we didn't have some amazing sponsors. So we want to thank our main event sponsor, Joseph Herringlake. Thank you so much, Joseph, for your contributions. We want to give a big thanks to the venue sponsor tonight, Cherry Republic. And we want to thank all our sponsors, Michigan Citizens for Water Conservation, Darlene Dorlag, Plumondon Shoes, yeah, give it up. Rowan Gray Clothing, Storm Cloud Brewing, and Yana D Ethical Clothing. We also want to thank all of our partners tonight, helping bring us together. So all of us are here. Your presence is very vital. Also, donations are so important to this effort. All of you folks watching online, you can donate online at oilandwaterdon'tmix.org. And here in the house, there's going to be baskets when you leave, just like tithing. And you can make checks out to Oil and Water Don't Mix. So we really appreciate your support. every little bit counts. It all adds up, and it all keeps this movement growing. The song that I opened with was a song that I played in St. Ignace on 2013, and it was a small but mighty crew standing for clean water on that day. And as you can see now, the movement has grown so much, and we just want to salute everybody who is a part of it. We're going to get things kicked off here with an amazing speaker representing the Oil and Water Don't Mix Coalition. Please give a warm welcome to Kate Madigan.
Hello. Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you, Seth Bernard, for that beautiful song and for being our host tonight. How amazing. And I want to thank Bill Latka for that amazing film, that amazing video, and for producing this whole show tonight. And thank you, everyone, for turning out tonight here at the Opera House in Traverse City and at events all over the state of Michigan. So my name is Kate Madigan. I work for the Michigan Environmental Council, and I direct the Michigan Climate Action Network, and I am one of the leaders of the Oil and Water Don't Mix campaign. And thank you. And tonight, I want to talk about the big picture, because what is happening in our state this year, a very important election year, will have consequences for decades to come. Line 5 has been in the news a lot lately. The risk of an oil spill is now very real after a ship's anchor recently struck and damaged Line 5 in the Straits. Serious concerns are finally bringing more elected officials to say enough. And we are seeing growing bipartisan agreement that we must shut down Line 5. Yes. But we are also seeing some elected officials, like Governor Snyder, promote building a tunnel in the Straits as a solution. And in his backroom deal made with Enbridge last November allows them to start moving in that direction. I want to make one thing very clear. A tunnel is not a solution for our state, for the Great Lakes, or for the planet. This idea of a tunnel, it may be mostly a delay tactic. It would take years to win approval for a tunnel and to get it built. Years in which the existing pipeline would keep pumping oil through the Straits. And we say no more delays. And if they are really considering a tunnel, there are plenty of reasons why this is a terrible idea. For one, if Enbridge builds a tunnel in the Straits, they will rebuild and expand all of Line 5 that crosses our state. This will lock us into decades of more risks of an oil spill. And a new pipeline will almost certainly carry heavy tar sands oil, the dirtiest fossil fuel on the planet. I know you all know about tar sands oil, but let's just give ourselves a refresher on why Michigan, the Great Lakes state, does not want to be the tar sands transport state. When tar sands oil is burned, it releases more greenhouse gases than any other fossil fuel. When it is refined, it pollutes nearby communities like those living near the Marathon refinery in Detroit. And when extracted, it is strip mined, wiping out entire ecosystems and displacing communities. When tar sands oil pipelines have spills, it's impossible to fully clean up, as we've already learned here in Michigan with the largest inland oil spill in U.S. history into the Kalamazoo River. It's not a secret that Enbridge is working to expand its network of pipelines in our region to bring more oil to market, including Line 5. What is not very well known is that the Enbridge playbook is to replace a pipeline piece by piece, claiming each piece is being replaced for maintenance purposes, so they can avoid environmental reviews. This is what they are doing now with Line 5, and our state is letting them get away with it. So the solution to this pipeline, this risky pipeline in the Straits and crossing our state, is simple. Retire Line 5 and don't replace it. This is a very real option and the only option that will eliminate the risks to our waters. The fact is, we do not need Line 5. 95% of the oil it carries just passes through our state. And here's what isn't widely reported. Line 5 is a Canadian-owned pipeline carrying Canadian oil to Canadian refineries and for export. It is a Canadian oil shortcut through Michigan, and there are plenty of other pipelines in the region to meet our energy needs. So you may ask yourself, why doesn't Canada transport its own oil? Canadians actually have stopped 2 proposed tar sands pipelines in the past year and a half because of environmental concerns. Yet our governor is proposing that we build a tunnel for them under the Great Lakes. We're being played for suckers by Enbridge. We are taking all of the risk, and they are getting all of the reward. But not anymore. Together, we've already made Line 5 a top election issue. And this year, we have a chance to elect leaders that will put the people of Michigan and our waters first. We have been at this for a long time, but we are not stopping. We are Michiganders. We know from our Anishinaabe teachers that water is life. We are stewards of the Great Lakes. We are the innovators that put the world on wheels. This summer, we are rising up to work for the kind of leaders we deserve. And together, we will shut down Line 5. Thank you.
Yeah. How about it for Kate Madigan? Thank you for your leadership, Kate. I'm just going to take a couple minutes now to tell you a little bit about my project, the Clean Water Campaign for Michigan. So I'm working with a statewide coalition of people to use storytelling and music in a social movement to amplify the groundswell of support for clean water issues all across our state. And as it's been said, this is an election year. It's maybe the most important election year in our lifetime. We have the opportunity to elect new leaders and recognizing failures of leadership and asking for any candidate running for office to take a clear stand on 3 key issues is right at the heart of our campaign right now. So those 3 issues are, number 1, prioritizing public waters over private corporations. Yeah, it makes sense. It's the law. It goes back to the commons. And this is true with the Nestle case, as we have just seen. A lot of people's voices were not heard. People showed up to make their voices heard. Over 80,000 people showed up to oppose this permit for Nestle to increase their pumping by 60%. This is a corporation that pays pennies and makes billions on public water, right? And 80,000 people come up to say no, 75 people said yes, 80,000 to 75, and they passed the permit. So this is unacceptable. We're asking for leaders to take a strong stand and to close this loophole. And it's not just Nestle. Privatization is happening in Detroit, one of our greatest cities in the world. The Detroit water crisis, the Detroit water shutoffs are still very much a huge problem that all of us should be concerned about, where you have wages going down and the cost of water going up. Water is a basic human right. And when municipal water supplies get privatized, that's a violation of human rights. And it's something that we're building with groups in Detroit on. Yes. We the People Detroit, the People's Water Board of Detroit, lots of other citizen-led groups are working on this, and there's legislation in play. We need clean water candidates to push it forward. The Flint water crisis is very much the greatest human rights failure in modern history. Everybody knows this. Everybody around the world knows about this, and yet it's a problem that still isn't fixed. We have no problem running crude oil through our biggest supply of fresh surface water, but we can't get a clean pipeline for clean water to the children of Flint, and it's totally unacceptable. So we're working with groups across the state to fix the Flint water crisis, and ask for clean water candidates to show up and represent the people of Flint and not corporations. And finally, Line 5. We're talking about Line 5, and we're asking for clean water candidates to shut it down on day 1. The governor and the attorney general, as you know, have the authority to shut this down, and they haven't. So this is very important to us. And in a larger scale, our movement recognizes that communities of color and Native communities are disproportionately affected by the atrocities of environmental degradation. And this is environmental justice. This is racial justice. And it's important for us who exist as activists in white majority communities. It's our responsibility to listen, to show up and listen to leadership of color and to listen to Native leadership. We're stronger together. And so we see the need to connect these issues and to connect the state and connect people across dividing lines of politics and to really make this movement fun, to infuse it with music and with storytelling. You can learn more at michigancleanwater.org, and we hope that you keep connected with us throughout the year. We're putting out interviews all the time, and we'll have a lot of fun events throughout the summer. Thanks a lot for listening. So when we support the tribes, when we support the treaties, and all of us as U.S. citizens, we have the power to breathe new life into treaties. We're supporting human rights, we're supporting the rights of Mother Nature, and we're supporting clean water. And we're very honored tonight to have Desmond Berry, who's the Natural Resources Director for the Grand Traverse Band of Ottawa and Chippewa Indians here. And also joining Desmond is Carol Ann Sandler-Ager. Please give them a warm welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Miigwech. Ani, Ejeo Dewara Nimki Benassi Nindijnakas, Animkin Dorum, Minwa, Waga Shandorum. I say, Chi Miigwech Gabijayak. That means thank you for all coming out. I introduced myself in that original language, and basically I offered to tell you where I was from and my clan. As Seth mentioned earlier, we are one of the original signatories to the Treaty of Washington that was signed in 1836, and because of that, Michigan gained statehood in 1837 as a result of us ceding over lands in exchange for the rights to hunt, fish, trap, and gather. So as you can see, Enbridge Line 5 being right through the heart of the Great Lakes, it's right smack dab in the middle of an area that's very important to us. And I shared a little bit of our language with you tonight, but I want to share a little bit of who we are, a little bit of our culture, and in order to do that effectively, our Anishinaabe Kwe, our women, have always spoke for and been the caretakers of water. We say, Nebe bima dizawin awan. That does mean water is life in that original language. So I'm not going to take any more time. I'm going to let my colleague, my cousin, Carol Ann Sandler-Ager, actually, have the opportunity to speak with you tonight. So, but miigwech for inviting the Grand Traverse Band here this evening to share in this retirement party. You know, let's retire this old line. It's 65, it's dented, it's beat up, it's time to go home, right?
Ani, Carol Ann Indishnakas, Lake Ann and Dojaba, Michigan Indirab and Dagwas, Odawa Inda. So, hi, my name is Carol Ann Sandler-Ager. I'm from Lake Ann, and I am the Turtle Clan, and I am Odawa. So, I am the aquatic biologist for the Grand Traverse Band of Ottawa and Chippewa Indians, and I administer the Section 106 of the Clean Water Act, and that is specifically water pollution control. So one thing that I've been focusing on lately and really making it my priority is attaining tribal water quality standards. We tried to adopt the water quality standards from the state of Michigan, and the Environmental Protection Agency told us no, that we couldn't adopt them, and for lack of better words, because they weren't up to par. So we're left to come and bring our own data that we've been collecting for around 20 years, and we're gonna use that to set our own standards. And we want to ensure that the Bay and that Lake Michigan maintains that pristine water quality condition. But tonight we are all gathered here because we do have one thing in common, and that is because Bima Indazawin Nabit Awan, water is life. In our culture, the women will take care of the water, and we are the bringers of life. So from the very start of life, we are protected and we are edified by the water. In the womb, the water protects us and it allows us to move and develop freely. It teaches us how to breathe and as we draw in each breath, we fill up our lungs with that water and we exhale it. And that goes to show you how truly powerful water really is. And then after we retained all of the information that we can from that water in the room, it signals to the woman and releases itself, and it tells us it's time to bring that life into the world. I think that we are comprised of mostly water, our bodies are, because we can't forget that it's water that allowed us to be here, and we need to protect that water as it is done for each of us. The time for details and environmental reports and studies are over. We need action and we need change. We need to protect the water. We need to heed its gift of knowledge and life, and this pipeline affects us all. And I once heard a person say that you have to push yourself outside of your own comfort zone. And once you're outside of your own comfort zone, you can tap into things in a new and fresh way. If you push yourself outside of your comfort zone and look at this Enbridge situation from a different perspective, we can all take these vital steps to save our water. So get uncomfortable and stand up and say something the whole world will hear. Get up and be uncomfortable and do something that you wouldn't normally do. Stand up and say something you wouldn't normally say. And if the hands of the many join as one, we can protect the water. Wow.
So we'll kick it over to Seth in the lobby. Miigwech.
Miigwech.
All right, thank you so much. So I'm here in the lobby, and we have some really cool retirement cakes. What a thoughtful thing to give to Line 5, 65 years after the easement was granted. So welcome. Thank you, Tricia, for joining me.
Glad to be here. My kids were really excited to do everything they could to help shut down Line 5 and keep the Great Lakes clean.
What's your name?
My name is Thomas.
Hey, Thomas, thanks for coming. What's your name?
Ursula.
Can you guys tell us about these cakes?
I want to point out that the little girl on this cake has red hair, like this little red-haired girl, and she wants everybody to make her happy by shutting down Line 5. That's what she told me the idea of her cake was here.
When we do accomplish this goal of shutting down Line 5, do you think that it would be good to have cake and ice cream?
Yep.
Definitely.
Great. What about this cake right here? This is cool.
This is my cake. My grandma helped me do it.
What did you want people to know about oil and water?
They don't mix, boy. They don't mix.
That's right. My man. Well, I played in your guys' school, and that was a whole lot of fun. Do you guys like music?
Yep.
Awesome. Do you think that you might play music someday?
Maybe.
Cool. Well, these look very tasty. How can people get these cakes home with them?
You need to come out here and bid. Don't feel any pressure to take these cakes home. If you want to bid on them to help support the shutdown of Line 5, my kids would love to be able to take their cakes back to share with their classrooms tomorrow. So go ahead and bid on their cakes. Don't feel pressured to take the cake home. I bet we can find some kids who would eat it tomorrow at school too.
How thoughtful. So you can donate to the campaign and get a cake, or be so kind as to give a cake to somebody.
Let kids eat cake.
Let them eat cake, let them drink clean water.
Absolutely.
Tricia, thank you so much. Thomas, Ursula, thank you guys. We appreciate you. So many people coming together, people of all ages, people of all walks. The Oil and Water Don't Mix Coalition is a group of nonprofits, but there's also another network called the Great Lakes Business Network, and it's business leaders from all over the state of Michigan calling for the shutdown of Line 5. CEOs, people who run businesses that are based here in Michigan, who care about Michigan, who want to protect our most precious resource. We're going to hear from a tremendous business leader from our community right now. Please give a warm welcome to Bob Sutherland.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you, everyone, for putting this on. What a great group of activists and organizers and general citizens. And there's just a feeling you can sense in this space right now, and probably, hopefully, in all the other 30 spots. It just feels like winning. It just feels like we're taking this issue. I'm a businessman, very proud of it, and I represent two industries, the tourism industry and the ag industry. And we talk a lot about the tourism industry and how it could be devastated from this Line 5 burst and what that would mean to tourism and drawing people up here, but we don't talk enough about what it would do to the Michigan brand. I sell cherries with the Michigan brand all over them. We sell apples. We are like the second biggest producer in variety across the nation. And I just don't think the ag community realizes how this would devastate us. We sell pure and beautiful Michigan fruit and vegetables. And a spill like this would devastate that brand. I know I just spent some time last week talking to a bunch of businessmen down in Grand Rapids, and I was convincing them to join the Great Lakes Business Network. I'm going to do my share to keep building this momentum. I didn't bring any notes. That way it keeps me short. Well, I guess I should say, for a lot of business people, there's a risk. You know, if you stand on one side of an issue and there's another side, you know that you're going to lose a couple of customers. And I have been standing pretty strongly in opposition and speaking out for this. Because there is something far more important than my company. It's my state, and it's the citizens that live in it, all right? You know. And I also have not that much fear that there's that many people on the other side, you know? And today, I was at another event just before this one, and someone came up to me and said, "Bob, I am no longer a customer of yours because of Line 5. I am for Line 5 and you are against it. I am no longer a customer." And he thought I might keel over, or I don't know what he thought. But I gave him a big smile. And I said, "Hey, we probably disagree. We disagree on this one, but we probably agree on 99 other issues. And I understand your point here." But I also said, you know, I'm really happy to meet you, and and glad you introduced yourself to me, because there's one other person that I have heard from that has also said they're no longer a customer of mine, and you two should meet, because you seem pretty lonely right now. So, the last thing I'll say, and I did this on another event 20 years ago when I was young and wild, and I can remember my uncle saying to me, "Bob," he goes, "I was watching TV, and there was this young man on there, and he looked like you, and he was jumping up and down, and I said, "Yes, that was me." And there was a line that he said, that I said, and I'm going to say it again right now, because I think it just shows us how important this issue is and how long we are all going to be working against this And that line is, I will fight line 5 till hell freezes over, and then I will fight it on the ice. Hey, to Seth with a special guest.
Thank you, Bob Sutherland. How about another hand for Bob and all the business leaders standing strong for the water. So we have a special poem now from Bob Lerner. Bob was in Kalamazoo in 2010 when the Enbridge Kalamazoo River oil spill happened, and he has a poem called Enbridge 1765, and it's worth noting the significance of this number. It took 17 hours for Enbridge to repair the rupture in line 6B, and during that time, 1 million gallons of heavy crude oil leaked into the Kalamazoo River watershed. 65 is the age of line 5 right now. So Enbridge 1765, a poem from Bob Lerner.
Thank you very much, Seth. I've lived on the Kalamazoo River in Battle Creek since 1973, 45 years now. And I would like to share this poem, which I do have. Calling Enbridge, 1765. Calling Enbridge, 1765. Please answer. 17 hours, a ruptured pipe, 1 million gallons into the night. Talmadge Creek, Kalamazoo River, tar sand oil running forever. 17 hours, arrested break from Marshall, Ceresco, Battle Creek, heavy diluted bitumen crude, Augusta, Galesburg, Morrow Lake 2, calling Enbridge, 1765, calling Enbridge, 1765, where are you? 17 hours, no answer. Calling Enbridge, 1765, calling Enbridge, 1765, please answer. 65 years for line number 5, 2 20-inch pipes with a 50-year life. Lake Huron, Lake Michigan, great freshwater lakes, 5 miles across in the Mackinac Straits. 65 years, 2 old oil pipes, 23 million gallons running day and all night. Niagara force currents, times that by 10. Lake bed washed out, gone is the sand. Calling Enbridge, 1765. Calling Enbridge, 1765. Please answer. 4 anchor supports broken free by the flow. 2 old oil pipes supported no more. Zebra, quagga, mussels hold on. New acid waste, new weight by the ton. 65 years, 2 stressed out old pipes, 9 rusty spots on the eastern Straits side. Glass fiber coating in places torn, metal fatigue, the most feared rupture born. Calling Enbridge, 1765. Calling Enbridge, 1765. Where are you? 65 years, no answer. Calling Enbridge, 1765. Calling Enbridge, 1765. Please answer. 5 beautiful lakes, a great glacial gift, fresh water for millions, forever so blessed. Pure Michigan treasure, foundation for life, a wonderful resource, a shared human right. High winds, high waves, strong currents and ice, a dynamic ecosystem supporting all life. 2 tired old pipes, 100, 200, 300 feet deep. With the importance of water, they can never compete. So flush out the pipes, turn off the pumps, shut down line 5. We need to be blunt. 20%, all surface fresh water on Earth must remain safe on this planet of our birth. Calling Enbridge, 1765. Calling Enbridge, 1765. Please answer. Yeah. And let's go to Seth.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you so much. As I look out over this crowd, my heart is so full. I see so many people who inspire me personally, people who make this community what it is, people who devote themselves and their lives tirelessly to the common good, to work for social change, to work to keep the water clean, and to protect people and to protect the future generations. And that's just this room. People all over the state, all over the country are connected here tonight to really protect what we love and to protect what is most essential, and that's what brings us together, and that's a really beautiful thing. I think it's worth noting that right now, that is what we are doing here, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, we're going to keep doing this, and there's going to be more of us doing this all the time. And I'm just going to say, I anticipate the biggest turnout in the history of state elections in Michigan in November 2018. Thank you for your work. So we're entering into the action segment of this evening. But I want to remind you, before we hear from another guest, just how important it is to donate, how your donations keep this campaign rolling, keep this coalition thriving, and keep this effort reaching lots of people. And it's the goal of the Oil and Water Don't Mix Coalition to reach as many people as possible to really create that change. So the baskets are there. They're going to be going around here. For those of you watching online, thank you for tuning in. You can donate at oilandwaterdon'tmix.org. We really appreciate it. So the other thing I want to mention is that after our next speaker, we're going to be entering into this chat back session. It's going to be a fun way to engage with people who are watching. After our next speaker, I'm going to sit with someone in the crowd, and we're going to just kind of chat. The idea is to answer the question, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to shut down Line 5? What are you going to do in this next year to raise the profile of this issue, to create change, to protect clean water? We'll hear from someone in the house. We'll hear from some people watching online. So the action segment of this retirement party, specific things we can do. We're going to hear from a wonderful young activist working with the Sierra Club. Please give a very warm Traverse City welcome to Allison LaPlatte. Thank you, Allison.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. How are you all doing tonight? Woo! So as stated, my name's Allison LaPlatte. I am the Great Lakes Regional Organizer for the Sierra Club Michigan chapter. And now I'm going to tell you all what you all and everyone watching can do to get involved with the Oil and Water Don't Mix campaign. The work that we do this summer and this fall will determine the fate of Line 5. We need to spread public awareness across Michigan and engaging them in this campaign in several different ways. We need to hold our governor and attorney general accountable for their lack of action against Line 5. We need to educate candidates running for office this year to make sure the state begins protecting our Great Lakes instead of protecting Enbridge's profits. The Oil and Water Don't Mix campaign has several different ways for you all and all the volunteers to plug into this effort. Maybe you want to help with tabling events. Tabling is a great way of spreading awareness and recruiting others to join this effort. If you sign up for our tabling team, we will provide you with the resources for tabling that you can print off on your own, and we will provide the training opportunities so that you all feel comfortable and familiar with raising events in your community. Or maybe you're interested in seeing where candidates running for office sit on the issue of Line 5. You can sign up for our local candidate outreach team, and we'll provide you with the training and resources to find out when candidates are holding events in your community. And to show up to those events to effectively engage them about Line 5, to educate them on these issues, and to find out where they stand. Remember that candidates will generally be receptive to voters in their districts, because they are running to represent you all. This is a great way to use your voice on the issue of decommissioning Line 5. Finally, we must hold our current elected officials accountable for their failure to decommission Line 5. Instead of acting to protect our Great Lakes, our current governor and attorney general have acted as pawns for Enbridge, engaging in secret deals with Enbridge, neglecting the advice of their own appointed Pipeline Safety Advisory Board, and trying to keep the public in the dark, while they paved the way for Enbridge to expand Line 5 into an XL pipeline that would permanently threaten the waters of the Great Lakes. You can sign up to join our accountability team to help us track when and where Governor Snidey and Attorney General Bill Schuette will be meeting. And we can attend their public events over the summer and hold them accountable through peaceful protests and making sure they know that Michigan residents are tired of waiting for them to take action on Line 5. Thank you. And finally, we have an event coming up in Mackinac City during the policy conference. Oil and water don't mix will have presence all day on Tuesday, May 29th near the ferry docks in Mackinac City. Holding shut down Line 5 signs, we will make sure that legislators, business leaders, and the media traveling to the Mackinac Policy Conference are aware of the citizen support of decommissioning Line 5. When they take their ferries over to the same straits in which those pipelines run. We need everyone that can come to on the Oil and Water Don't Mix website, click on the events page, and sign up for a shift for that protest. Now, here at the Opera House and everyone at all their parties listening across the state, please take out your commitment cards and fill them out. If you have any way that you can help, remember to sign up for only the things that you can commit to doing. If you have any ways that you would like to help out that we haven't listed, please do so in the comment section. We are going to give everyone 5 minutes to fill out the card and an additional 15 minutes to give people the chance to share what they are committed to doing. When your card is filled out, please make sure to leave it with your party host so that we can follow up with you. Together, we can shut down Line 5. And now, on to Seth with another special guest.
Thank you, Allison, and thank you, everybody back home. So for those of you that are watching, this is a chance for us to check in with you. So what you're going to do is you're going to minimize your video, and you're going to open up the chat back feature. And we want to know what you're going to do. Let us know what city you're in with your answer. So I'm right here in the house. Like I said, this place is just loaded with amazing people doing great work. Can you tell us who you are?
Sure. Hi, I'm Greg Reisig. I'm from Elk Rapids. I've been involved in this effort for a little over 3 years, almost 4 years.
How about it for Greg Reisig, everybody? So, Greg, can you tell us what you're going to do and maybe just a little bit of background about what you've already been doing?
Yeah, I'm the co-chair of the Northern Michigan Environmental Action Council, and we're one of the partner organizations of Oil and Water Don't Mix. We're trying to raise awareness of this thing, and obviously we've done a pretty good job at that. There's still a few people around that don't know what Line 5 is, but more than anything, we're headed toward these fall elections, and we're trying to get a governor that actually will listen to us. Governor Snyder will not meet with us, and the Attorney General will not meet with us. We've tried numerous times to set up meetings, and they've always refused and said, "Oh, you can meet we can meet with the staff." And we have to make this change in our state government this fall. It's very important.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
How about it for Greg, everybody? So any information coming out there through the stream from folks back home? Sometimes you got to go to plan B. Anybody else around me want to say who they are and what they're up to? How about you? No? That's okay. I feel shy sometimes too. Yeah, all right. What's your name?
My name is Satan Gromberg, and hey everybody. So Plan B. We're Surf Rider organization, and we've localized a chapter here in Traverse City. And our efforts with Surf Rider, I'll keep it super brief, but we surf in the lakes. And last weekend when the weather was lovely and the wind was blowing, we were out there. And we're well aware that a lot of our surf breaks will be affected by Line 5, and we couldn't do what we love to do in the lakes. And so we've organized, I've got Sean McLean here with us, and we're getting a voice that's against Line 5. We're going to organize, we're going to be heard, we're going to partner with Flow, Oil and Water Don't Mix, and it's just another way to get rid of this thing. So check us out.
Thank you, Seth. I like that Flow hat, man. So we got some chatting going on up there. Let's check it out. Let's not elect leaders, but rather elect representatives. This country went wrong when the pundits and the news media started calling politicians leaders. They don't want to work for a living. Servant leadership is what this individual is talking about. Help local candidates who support retiring Line 5 get elected. Good idea. Emily Jones at CMU has started a petition to get the university to support the decommission of Line 5. Brilliant. Student activism. Yeah. We'll be going down the street with Retire Line 5 right after this toward Governor Snyder's condo. Direct action, all hands on deck, every means necessary. U of M sustainability students will make calls to Governor Snyder and Attorney General Schuette to decommission Line 5. That is awesome. Thank you for your activism. Kalamazoo says hi. Hi, Kalamazoo. Let our river be a lesson to the state. Thank you, Sophia Yurden. Exactly. And here we are 8 years later trying to take the same Canadian Oil Corporation to task. Just want to let you know we support Oil and Water Don't Mix down here in Wayne County. We're all in this together. Cheers to all the folks in Wayne County. Thank you very much. Thanks to everybody watching. See you in Mackinac City. Yeah, not if we don't see you first. Thank you. Here in NMU in Marquette, Michigan. We can get this out of here. Cheers to all of our UP brothers and sisters. Beautiful. Well, keep the information flowing, you guys. Keep connected. And we're going to keep the show going here in the Opera House. So we have a wonderful song here. This is a custom song about Line 5. Please put your hands together for Doc and Donna Probes.
Near the mighty bridge that we call Big Mac, where the water and sky are blue. Near the mainland breaks, near the Mackinac Straits, where the fish and the freighters go through. A big oil company built Line 5 on the bottom of the straits it's found. Through water and soil it'll carry the oil till the day when the pipe breaks down. Oh, the big oil pipelines carry the oil underwater and underground. But no one alive will forget Line 5 on the day when the pipe breaks down. In 1953, 2 20-inch lines were laid. But pipes grow weak and they're bound to leak as the pressure and flow are raised. As the years go by, a pipe can fail like the one in Kalamazoo. Line 6B burst and the river was cursed with a coating of tar and goo. Oh, the big oil pipelines carry the oil underwater and underground. But no one alive will forget Line 5 on the day when the pipe breaks down. Someday Line 5 will meet its doom. It's only a matter of time. Our inland sea's now a watery tomb. Tell me, how could we be so blind? I fear one day my child will say, Daddy, what did you do back then? Did you stand and fight? Did you do what's right? Will the water be blue again? Oh, the big oil pipelines carry the oil underwater and underground. But no one alive will forget Line 5 on the day when the pipe breaks down. Will you just stand by and wonder why on the day when the pipe breaks down?
Doc and Donna Probes, everybody. One more round of applause. Well, thank you so much. Thank you all so much for coming out. Just a few announcements in closing. We want to thank all of our sponsors once again. So let's put our hands together again for Joseph Herring Lake, Cherry Republic, Michigan Citizens for Water Conservation, Darlene Dorlag, Plumundon Shoes, Rowan Gray Clothing, Storm Cloud Brewing, and Yana D Ethical Clothing. We encourage you all to donate. Any amount helps. It all trickles together into what we need to keep this movement going. Thank you all so much for showing up. That's the main thing. Keep showing up. Keep spreading the word. Keep hope alive. And I hope that this gathering here and this event that you connected to online lifted your spirit some, but remember that this is just a piece, that this is not a catharsis. This is not something to make us feel better. This is something to keep us going. And when we carry this burden all together, none of us has to suffer alone. But until children in Flint have clean water, until people in Detroit are protected from the shutoffs, until Line 5 is shut down forever, once and for all, none of us can feel totally okay, right? We got to keep on working. So part of that work is to take care of ourselves and each other, all right? So be happy, have fun, and keep the work going. Volunteer sign-up sheets. So you have these volunteer sign-up sheets, correct? Yeah, you got them there. People are passing them out. Also want to let you know this is the last call to bid on the silent auction items. So please do, and thank you for your donations. And I thought it would be kind of cool to end this thing with like a little chant, you know, almost like we're about to win a basketball game. I'm a basketball guy myself, also a Motown guy. So this was Jim Lively's request. Na 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 na. Na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. Na 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 na, na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. Two more times. Na 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 na, na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. One more time. Na 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 na, na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. Keep it up, you guys. We'll see you down the road.